Hello, I'm Etienne Sellan. I'm education project lead and cybersecurity instructor at Ynov in France, a French group of schools with 13 campuses across the France and around 12,000 students. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. So I will add a bit of context of how it works for us. So we are a skill-based school. So we deliver professional titles. So unlike other common universities, which depend only on the Ministry of Education, we depend also of the Ministry of Labor. So our graduation, our student graduation depend not only on the attendance, but also on the demonstrated competencies and the employability. So our ability to deliver professional title are challenged by a government frequently to prove that the employability rate of our students are great. Also, we work with professional active instructor, so not full-time academics person. We think it's important to work with this kind of profile to keep connected with industry reality and to keep up-to-date courses. So that's for the context. Now we'll talk how we use AI to apply this methodology and to enforce our strategy in education. From the beginning, so how do you turn competencies into actual courses? For that, we develop a first AI tools that collect every job offer on the market and could extract some useful information like key competencies that are required by companies and emerging skill strength. So with this information, we can see if there is some new jobs that emerging and create a new professional title and submit them to the French government for validation. Also, when we have a validated new professional title, we need to find the right instructor for each of these competencies. So we develop another AI tools internally to collect every CVs from instructor available and check if make a matching between instructors and competencies that we need to transmit to our students. So we have a tool that could analyze every CVs from instructor and check if the competencies that we have to transmit is really present in the background of each instructor and make the best match. We can also analyze syllabus presented by intervenant to check if it's matched perfectly on it. So now, we have a validated title, we have a perfect plan for our courses, but how do we make our courses like any other? So, as I say, we are competency-based strategy. We start directly during the classroom, where our professional formatter could bring real problem from the industry directly in the classroom. Most of our exercises during classroom are inspired or replicated from the industry. So we are directly in the earth of the topic. Also, our students use apprenticeship, so they could test new, freshly learned capacities directly on the field and bring back work problematics directly in the classroom, because it's important for us to have issue. I have friends who say often, okay, you success your exercise on the first try without any issue, so unfortunately you didn't learn anything. You have to face issues to learn. So it's an important thing for us. Finally, we also introduce innovation days that we call Y days in our school. It's a dedicated time for our students to create or join project. So project can be research or creation of a new tools to respond to a problematic, or even creation of a startup, or respond to a problematic bring by a company. Some aeronautic companies reach our school with a specific problem, and students try to work on this and find a solution. So that's our strategy and our methodology for the education process. But now, what kind of project can show how we implement this in our school? I will show you a recent one on cybersecurity, my favorite domain. So this is Cyber War Room. It's easy to train your hard skill, your technical skill. You can work on your computer in the classroom, it's easy. But how about soft skills? Because how to be sure that you can take the right decision at the right time, that you could handle pressure, you can handle your stress, you can make reporting, communication. That's hard topics. So for that, we created Cyber War Room. It's a dedicated space on each of our 13 campuses. It's a room to replicate and simulate a cyber crisis. So it's dedicated to cybersecurity, but we could simulate also other kind of crisis. Like in this case, it's cybersecurity crisis, like companies that been hacked. So here, what it look like, in one example, in one of our campus. And the objective is to have an immersive space where you can train your soft skill and receive some virtual pressure on the specific topic of cybersecurity. How does it work? So it's pretty compact and pretty modular. You have a centralized server, like the brain of the machine. You can see what it looks like on the right. And this server will control any equipment in the room. So there is a fully virtualized infrastructure. We can replicate any corporate infrastructure, but you also have some physical equipment in the space. For example, you have a clock directly controlled by a timeline defined by a scenario and also by AI decision. So you could freeze the time or speed up the time, so you can play with the crisis of multiple weeks, but just in one day, because you speed up the time and you intensify the risk. You could also have many triggers of specific events. For example, you have phones, so you can simulate a call from your manager, from your CEO, from the journalist, from the authorities, and you have to respond. How do you handle this kind of pressure? You also have some virtual and AI-generated breaking news. If you take a bad decision and there is consequences in the world, you have a breaking news that appear on each of television, and you see the consequences of your decision. It's very realistic. You also have multiple modules like stocks market. When you take this decision, the stock markets will react, and you see each value of your company moving. Don't worry, it's not really connected to the real stock market. We do not drop Nasdaq just for simulation. You also have social media. It's very important today to have this kind of pressure. The people talking about what you do, what your company have as problem. And in the case of cybersecurity issue like hacking, we also have, for example, printer that can be controlled by hacker, by virtual hacker, that take control of a printer and print ransom request on which you can have a link to discuss in a private chat with the hacker and try to negotiate with him. Or even pyrotechnic effect. So we have a demonstration scenario where the company in the crisis is an electrical power distribution company. So when the hacker take control of the electrical equipment and try to trigger some power outage or overload, and the electrical component try to start to blow up, you have really an electrical panel that blow up in the room of the school. So it's very modular. You can simulate any kind of crisis, and all is controlled by a predefined scenario and AI decision. So each decision that you make could have consequences in the good way or in the bad way, and can create a more stressful environment and add pressure to your scenario. For the end, I will show you a little trailer. So this project has been released publicly a few hours ago in France during the ceremony. So I will show you a little trailer.
Welcome to Ynov Cyber War Room, an advanced crisis simulation ecosystem powered by adaptive scenarios and guided by AI that shapes, adjusts, and intensifies every moment. Built on a fully virtualized infrastructure capable of replicating any corporate network, the system blends digital complexity with physical disruption. Phones, screens, lights, printers, clocks, cameras, breaking news, stocks market, social medias, even pyrotechnic effects, all react to the unfolding scenario, immersing participants in a living crisis. Across our 13 campuses, each dedicated war room becomes a stage of controlled chaos, a space where scenario logic and AI-driven triggers push learners into the heart of pressure, uncertainty, and strategic decision-making. Here, participants face the full intensity of real cyber crises. They must think fast, lead under stress, and navigate both technical and human challenges. Authentic tension, real consequences, scenarios tailored to any crisis, from large-scale ransomware attacks to silent intrusions, from communication failures to full organizational collapse, with AI breathing life into evolving, unpredictable crisis landscapes. Step into the closest possible replica of the professional battlefield, where simulation fuses with reality and future cybersecurity experts are forged. Ynov Cyber War Room, your skills unleashed.
So that's it. You can see what it looks like. So it's just a video and an explanation. I will be happy to do a full demonstration if you come to France or if we develop a cyber war room around the world. So you can see what it looks like. It's a pretty compact kit with all you need to create this environment in the same place. So you just pull out every equipment, electrical panel, phones, you display some interfaces on the screen. You can replicate some map of network connection or power distribution map like in the demonstration scenario. And you just select on the control panel which scenario you have to play. You click on play and that's it. All the trigger and events start to appear, and a student begin to cry. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, time for questions. Any? Daniel, yes.
Modular models are actually driving it in terms of the technical architecture.
Sorry,
are you using a commercial, large or smaller? I'm asking, hello, by the way, this is fantastic, really good. Which model is driving the kind of triaging within the experience?
The model is not really the important thing. We could use any modern model like Gemini, GPT from OpenAI. For now, it's OpenAI, but it's not the important thing. The important thing is how do you interact with this model, and this is the interface between you and the model. So with physical equipment and virtualized trigger of events, the model. Any modern models can handle this kind of thing.
Great. Hi, Etienne. Thank you for the great presentation. I have two questions. The first question is that you're talking about the simulation being able to adapt and that you constantly add new scenarios and things like this. Could you elaborate about how do you actually do it? Because often when you think about AR, VR, the kind of outcomes or the scenarios are kind of fixed. So how do you make that more adaptable and scalable, especially in terms of like you mentioned about how it will increasingly become more pressured for the student. So is it something that you really build like it's a fixed path based on student choices or that it's really dynamically changing? And the second question I have is that I noticed that you have a war room. I'm curious to find out how many students would be attending such a class at each time. And basically, how much does it cost, how many people, and how much does it cost to actually run such an operation? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. About the scenario, for now, it's mainly fixed path because we have to check some competencies directly in the scenario. So we cannot let the AI decide for the whole scenario. So you have a fixed path, but AI could adapt for some decision, some reaction. You could have branch in the scenario. So at one time you take a decision and you go that way or that way, and the next trigger in the scenario will be different. And there are some free parts where IA could discuss with you. So, for example, for negotiation with hacker, this is an example of where AI controls the whole thing, but we cannot let the AI drive the whole scenario. But you could generate a new scenario using AI. So, but we cannot. We have to know what will happen during the scenario. We cannot let the AI drive the whole session. So for now, this is how how it works. But maybe in the future, we'll let the AI more liberty to control the scenario. And for your second question, how many students and how does it work for us? As we have students directly in our campus for a whole year at minimum, we can split session to have less students, less than 10 students. 10, it's also a large panel because you have to set multiple responsibilities in the group of students, which one will take the decision, which one will do the technical things. So you cannot do that with many students because it's not really useful and most of them will just remain passive. So we have to have a small group and distribute responsibility for each of them. But as this cyber room is interned to our campus, we could split and divide along the year. For the beginning, this group will take the cyber room for the first day, and then we pass to another group. So we keep small group of students.
Yes, sorry, I just add a few things. We really wanted the experience to be very realistic. So in a company, you won't have 30% working during the crisis. So you're going to have maybe a team of 10 people, and it depends on the scenario too, which is very interesting. And you've got the red team, the blue team, as you know, in cybersecurity, and sometimes you have people observing, so they can learn from each other. So you have the student acting and the students that are observing and maybe giving advices, and they change the rules during the exercise. So this is quite interesting. And you may have some people outside of the room, and they can intervene in the action too. According to the cost, as far as I am the one who pay the bill, it depends on the effort. I mean, now our cyber rooms, They are useful for the students, but also for the community. So when some companies get in trouble, they can come and to use our rooms. So we won't speak a lot about this, but we are trying to help. So that's need a lot of investment because all the IT infrastructure has to work totally independently from the rest of the world. So we put a lot of money in those infrastructure, and we had some help from the States because we work a lot with the army and the defense ministry in France. So we are leaders in this sort of experience in France right now. So that's why we have got very high level infrastructure, but you may have those rooms in your campus quite easily, and you don't really need to have all the infrastructure. It depends on also if you want to work on this situation with others fields of education. I mean, we are speaking about cybersecurity, but you can work with other students and on infrastructure and others. And so then you may need to have all the system. So it's about, we are speaking, the budget will be from 50,000 euros to 100,000 euros a room sometimes. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophie. I think there's some connection with Airbus. You want to say a little about that?
Yes, at Ynov we have sort of a connection with Airbus. We are trainer for cybersecurity at Airbus, so we try to set up this new kind of the learning path with them to teach to the student this new way of learning. Also, the project of Cyber War Room is really new. We plan, the possibilities are unlimited. We plan also other usage. For example, we plan to work more on the architecture topic. For example, let students set up a new architecture of technical observability collection, then deploy a crisis scenario on infrastructure of students to see if the observability is verbose enough, and if they are set up the right tools to detect each crisis triggers.
Okay, good. So I think we'll save the other questions for the panel later. So thank you very much again for the very exciting sharing.